If you do not know me, I am Abacus Blue. I am an apprentice under Blade Master Fox in the House of Silver Equipped. And today we're going to talk a little bit about short red dueling. So first and foremost, before we talk about anything else, I'm going to talk about gloves and the importance of them. So when you are blue fighting, I'm going to hold this in one hand because it's a blue. And I get hit in the hand. Frosty hit me in the hand. Very lightly. I get hit in the hand. I can pull my arm back and absorb some of the hit into my arm, into my body, and not into my knuckles. When you are red fighting, I'm not even going to do it without gloves on.
I'm not funny. It's so funny. It's done. I just.
When you're red fighting and you get hit in the hand, there is nowhere for your hands to go. There is no arm movement. There's no anything, which means that the force of the impact goes straight into your hands. Therefore, the exact same shot to the hand of a red fighter is a more dangerous shot to the hand than the shot to the hand of a blue fighter. That is why it is so super important to wear gloves as a red fighter. I recommend something rather thick. I use hockey gloves. Some people use lacrosse gloves. I have been hurt in lacrosse gloves, so I fight blue with lacrosse gloves and red with hockey gloves. You may also notice that I cut the cuffs off of my glove. Just as a general PSA, regardless of whether or not you can feel it through the cuff, you will make everyone's life better and happier if you cut the cuffs off, because they won't think you're cheating even if you're not cheating. So just cut the cuffs off your glove, it's better. Alright, that's been my PSA about gloves. This class is going to be divided into 3 parts, so we're going to talk about a thing, do a drill, talk about a thing, do a drill, talk about a thing, do a drill. First thing I want to talk about is just general stance and form. I am going to assume for this class that you guys have some amount of fighting experience outside of red, to give you some idea of what stance and footwork and stuff feel like, and I'm not going to cover super basics of that. For red fighting form is a little bit different from blue fighting form. Specifically, you want to be more profiled. So that means that if I am fighting facing this direction, right, I want my shoulders back, I want my hips back, and that prevents a target zone. Because if I'm like this, I'm less likely to get stabbed. I also have more range. If I turn like this, notice I lose a little bit of range, and I'm suddenly very stabbable. That change comes from the hips. So I'm wearing bad things to show that. But if you look at me, so if I'm stance up this way, right, and I turn my hips, my whole body turns. Everything turns with it, and I'm suddenly profiled. So you can think about, you don't need to think about the shoulders as much as the hips. The hips are the thing that cause that profiled stance to work. So I'm going to show the same thing over here. So if I'm here like this, I pull the hips back, my whole body turns. You see that? Watch the hips. And that turns my shoulders. That gives me that little bit of extra range. That does everything. Simple, right? Small things. The first drill we're going to do to practice that is called block strike. So my version of block strike, James, I'm going to steal you. Sorry, rig of air. In my version of block strike, you want to start where you can touch the body of your opponent. So you want a similar length red. You want to be able to touch the body of your opponent. Your feet are not going to move at all. And what you're going to do is you're going to swing upper quadrant. Don't swing at legs. You're going to swing at your upper quadrant. They're going to block. And then your opponent's going to swing. And you're going to block. And what I want you, and then you swing again. And it just flows like that. Start slow. So if you notice, we're going super slow. We're literally just doing like swing, pause, 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 pause. Take it slow. Start there. You can speed up as you need it. In this portion, the things you're focusing on are your hips and keeping your stance right. So again, if you want to look at, you want your knees a little bit bent, so they should be not too bent. You don't want to be like way down here. A little bit bent, you're on your toes, your hips are back. You want a just good stance, and I want you to focus on that stance as you do this and feel like how you need to, when you come back, feel yourself come back to that, yeah, there it is. Feel yourself come back to that hips back position. Let me show it again from this side. So again, from this side, you're like, there's the stance. You're a little bit there. You want your hips back. Where's my glove? And you're sort of in front of you. Wear gloves. Show it again from this side. There's the stance again. Knees bent, hips back. That's it. Simple. Focus on your form. Pair up with people of similar length reds for this. And remember, again, you're swinging at shoulders. I'm going to come around and like watch and give corrections as we go. Yeah, do it. Ready, break. If you need a red,
The minimum amount of
I have a min. If you don't have gloves, please don't participate.
forever, but it's still
How
gonna
does
take.
that feel?
Awkward.
Yeah, it's a little awkward, isn't it?
Yeah. My hips
Yeah.
don't do that.
Yeah. It's a little bit like, I recommend starting from the hips and letting the rest of the form flow out of that, and sometimes that means you have to change your feet, or you have to change your thing, and like finding, like, get your hips set, and then think about, like, this doesn't work, this holds my hip bone, I need to do that to keep my hips set right. Like, I noticed that on a number of people, that was a correction I made several times. Also, like, keep your knees bent, because as soon as you stand up, just the act of standing up pulls my hips a little more forward. When I keep my knees bent, they have to stay this way, and then I can be out and here. All right, so we know how to stand, right? The next thing we need to know how to do is swing. In red fighting, in red dueling specifically, you do not have a shield ever because it's a duel. Which means that we have to block a little bit. So if you're swordboarding, your sword does a thing, your board does a thing, right? That's two whole things you can do. When you're red fighting, your goal is to do 1.5 things at all points in time. So that means that the form of your strikes should be in such a way that they provide half of a block. They cannot provide a full block because they're also a strike, but they can cover part of your body. So, Talon Mystelia.
Can I borrow your gloves, folks? Borrow your gloves.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody wear gloves for everything all the time, always. Yeah. Don't pick your sword up without a glove on. Swing reds in check with gloves on. So that means that if I swing here, what I'm doing here, my hands are out, they're turned up a little bit. This is causing half of a block. Let me do it again from this side. So if I swing here, that's half of a block. The exact same swing without the block leaves my arms open. There it is with the block. That is the difference of a wrist rotation. Did everyone see that? Let me do it again over here so you guys can see. Yeah, let's do like here. We'll just do a bunch, this in a bunch of different directions. So there's the non-block version. Here is the same strike with the half a block. It is the difference of a wrist rotation. So I'm pulling my wrists up a little bit as I swing, and that causes me to have this block. What is not blocked? Yeah, because it's only half of a block. That does mean I know where they're going to swing, because they're either going to swing into a block and who cares, or they're going to swing into my torso, because that's what's open. Let me show it again. Let's see. Let me show it from behind now. So here it is again. There's the block version. There's the not block version. See, my arm is getting hit. My shoulder can get hit. Okay. Same thing on the other side. So there is the block version. That's the not block version. Wrists come out. So, yep. Also straight down. Let's do it again from this side. Me turning every angle so everyone can see this. So again, the downward chop, same thing. My hands come out, and I do that. And I can do that same thing on this side. My hands come out, and I do kind of a block. Half of a block, half of a thing. When we block, we want to do the same thing. How do we block and do half of a strike? Does that even make sense?
It's not like you're threatening.
Yeah, so I would, the other half of a thing can be loading a lot of times. So if I block here, what can I do from here? Yeah, I can come straight down, I can come around. What I've done is I've pulled my hands into my body, and that has allowed for me to load a strike. I can do the same thing on the other side, so I come here, I have loaded a strike. The loading is the other half of a thing on the block. The idea is that no matter what you're doing 1.5 things. Do you guys want to see that again from other angles? How do people feel about that? Cool. Any questions about that one? About that concept or those specific strikes?
Is there any time you wouldn't do that?
Wouldn't do 1.5 things?
Yes, wouldn't do only one thing.
Ideally, no, because like, for example, if I throw a strike that's not guarded but it kills you, the killing you is guarded and that you're dead now. So ideally, no, everything should always do a second half of a thing.
Maybe if we only
even then the range is the other half. Like, the other half always exists no matter what if you're fighting well. So we're gonna do exactly the same drill again. Yay, block strike. I really like block strike, guys. I'm sorry, I like it a lot. This time, instead of focusing on just your hits, I want you to focus on the form of your strikes. So it's exactly the same drill, but now you're focusing on the form of your strikes and the form of your blocks as you do that. Pay attention to what's open, pay attention to where things are going. For example, again, I told you, like, if I have struck out like this, and I've done a good 1.5 thing, I know where the next strike is coming, because it has to. There are no other options. So focus on that, notice the things that are open when you do your half of things, and pay attention, like those are the things you're focusing on and thinking about this time. It's exactly the same drill. Do you have any questions about the drill itself? Cool, let's do it again. And I'll come around again.
Until you do it in the
Join us in the shade, shade time.
shade time.
Daytime.
Nighttime.
Nighttime.
Daytime. It's like 4
Puppies?
times. Now give me right now. How much less?
It's still going.
It's all just
Oh, 4
It's still going, you said?
Yes. This is it.
Anyone spike my food wrong?
All right. What did you think about
No
that
crash.
after
No
you've done
crash.
that? What did you think? Did the form of being able to see what people had open make sense versus what was covered by the half block? Yeah. Awesome. Well, if nobody has any questions about that, we're going to move on to our last topic of discussion. Cool. Our final concept that we're going to talk about today is zones. So, the zone, when people talk about it, so sometimes people talk about hit zones, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about like green, yellow, red zones. So zone of where you are in the fight. The zone is the range that you are fighting at. Where are my gloves? There are my gloves. Yeah, that's fine. You'll hear this concept a lot, so we're going to talk about what the zones are and then what you can do in them. So first off,
It's a guarantee.
Rise and grind.
yeah,
If I hit you in this zone, you're screwed. You're fucked.
yeah. That also means that it's scarier. Like, if you choose to be here, we both chose to be here, we are not duking it out at this range. We are deciding who is the better swordsman on swordsmanship alone.
Wait, we have a choice?
Yeah.
You don't.
Your choices?
So, every zone has a thing that you can do in it. The fight happens in all of them. I wanted to call attention to them because they do different things and you need to think about different things when you're in each part. The drill that we're actually going to do 2 versions of this drill. So we're going to do version 1 of this drill, and then we're going to come together, chat, and do version 2 of this drill for this one. So the first version of this drill, we have put movement now, is called block, strike, block. So if you are the aggressor, that is what the name is for. The goal of this is to get into the zone and get back out of the zone. So if I'm the aggressor, we're moving around. Talon's going to move a little bit, but he is never going to change the range. Only the aggressor changes the range of the fight. So if I'm here, I want to throw a strike, strike block. So I want to throw a strike to get me into the yellow zone. Then Talon's going to throw a strike at me. I'm going to block in the yellow zone. I'm going to strike again, and that will get me out of the yellow zone. So all 3 strikes are thrown from the yellow zone, but you need to change zones to do it. So you come in, strike to come in. Block, in, strike to get out. Block, strike, block, strike. And then you're going to trade. So if we're doing this drill, what it's going to look like is I'm the aggressor first. So we're going to be moving around, moving around, moving around. And I leave, and now Talon's the aggressor. So now I don't change the range of the zone. And then I hit Talon in the head. We don't do that. And we just go back and forth like this. We're going to do this one for shorter because it's more movement, it's more aggression, it's more everything. And then we're going to come back and we're going to do an inverse of this drill. Any questions about this drill? I know this drill is more.
Strike specific or can I stab?
Don't stab.
Okay.
Aww. Good.
This is red dueling basics.
That's how you win rules.
That's true. Don't stab.
But not basic.
Yes.
Okay.
Just
do the
cross
same
basically
here
how you
again,
win it.
Split up, do things. I will come around.
This is
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Remember, as you're
if
doing
we all
these,
suck
not
it up,
to
then
lose
I
the
mean,
previous
that's
step.
25
So
kills in
as
10
you
minutes.
we
It's fine.
suddenly added
Smoking.
footwork, like
No
we've
shields
added
allowed.
something every time.
No shields
Make
allowed.
sure you don't
Oh,
lose
no
the stuff
shields
from
No
the
shields
beginning.
allowed, dude.
Hold on to the hip position.
Dog
Hold on
message,
to the shoulder
So is it-
position.
so
Like,
what is it,
hold
all
on
red and
to your
spears?
1.5 things.
It's gonna be mostly
Maintain
reds.
all of it
It'll
as
probably be
you
like,
move on
sorry.
to the next steps. So,
I'm-
same concept. We're just going to do a slightly different version of the same drill. So now instead of strike, block, strike, we're doing block, strike, block. This is the same idea. So I am the aggressor again. Talon, when he puts my gloves on, will be the defender. So now, to change range, you're essentially gonna assume your opponent is gonna swing. So you're gonna step into range and just be prepared for the swing that's coming. So if we're here, I'm the aggressor. I step in. Strike, block. Nope, I missed. Whatever. And then strike again to get out. So now instead of striking on your way in and out, you're blocking on your way in and out, and you're striking in range. So one more time, let's do it again. So I step in, I block, I strike, and I block again to get out. Same exact thing, we're literally just inverting what you're doing. This is just giving you more options, getting you used to going in and out of range in different ways. Both options are valid. Again, maintain things. This is the last drill we're going to do. So, go forth and drill.
Do drill things.
Yeah.
Kind of the same drill, isn't it?
Just like instead of blocks.
Yeah, take a second, get water if you need it.
So many muscles
That's the whole
that don't.
point. You're not gonna start getting dick kicked by
Stay curious. How about that?
65 and under. You're gonna be a lot of range. Dude. There might be one spear and a couple sword.
Are you doing it?
Neutral away.
You gonna do it?
It's something I'm definitely not. Something I'm definitely not familiar with. Definitely.
It's gonna be a big thing. I know. Well, I'm just saying to let you know because you're gonna. It's gonna get. Yeah, you haven't taken a sentence earlier. So this is. When I was an apprentice, this one was I did it with a min, but I had a back shield. I had a combat.
That was just a natural.
But
That was a
was
natural
a.
habit of like. Yep. No.
It was an endurance. So
I'm not getting myself taken
the
out today.
strategy I had to do is like because you're on a timer, it's like you have to essentially buy your water breaks. So it's just like, all right, I got 3 kills real quick, grab some water, you know, then keep going. Because you don't want to get stuck behind and be like, oh god, I need to take a water break, but the time's not in your favor, you know. You want to.
Anytime if somebody likes me, I'm just calling dead.
You have to finish it. You have to finish the fight.
At the same time, we got a little.
It's
100%, yeah.
we can't cheese it.
That feels more natural.
Teasing it.
There was one point in mine.
I think it's more
It's
of like
more-
I'm saving time.
No, you got to fight it out. I got called out,
I mean,
and
that's fine. If that's the rule, that's the rule.
there was one point I was gassed, and Manny was next, with a spear, and I just went at him like this, just for the easy poke, and Dak's like, no, do it again. I'm like, alright. So you just gotta finish the fight. That's why I say, go to them, because if they leg you and they're gonna be a little bit, like, they're not gonna milk the clock, but they're gonna fight smart, and if it takes up time, like, even when you're legged, you're gonna have to,
Put effort
Brain
in.
wants me to
yeah.
do it.
We can go in with like 5.5 buckler or 5.5.
No shield.
No shield.
No shield.
Okay.
So what we did, what we did was we lowered the amount of kills you need to get. Yeah, but it's still like fighting this many minutes for this many minutes is still, this is going to be less exhausting, but you don't get a shield. So because we want it to be more of a like a skill thing than an endurance thing, but the endurance it's still going to play into it, you know. But like the longer one, it's like it becomes more of an endurance thing than a skill thing at that point. So we're trying to find the middle ground. Yeah, so we think this is a good one because we also want to make it so like it's still fun, you know. We still want to make it a challenge. But this one, yeah.
10 minutes and then get out.
It's push. Yeah, push it.
Not a lot of fun.
No, not at all. I mean, 15, 20 really isn't as much as you think either. When you're going down the line of people, because it's not just tap go. It's just
Even
it's different
I
weapons.
think it's 5 minutes. Like we did that fucking big circle thing.
Yeah.
That trial, that's 10 people in a circle. You gotta kill them in 5 minutes. I think that was too many kills.
Yeah, well, that's good. Yeah, that's hard. It's still it's fucking hard.
But it's still an endurance. Right?
Yeah.
So I personally had bunch of spears and shit in it on purpose. It's the only one that you want.
Yeah. You're gonna have every trial is an endurance trial. It's just like varies of it.
Can I see that you're lefty? And now I want to like do this.
I mean, yes. Yes.
Now I just
Yes.
that's not the
Yes,
exercise.
you're catching on.
And when you asked me, like, why do you fight like that? I was like, dude. No. At the last day battle, I was like, why do you always fight in this stance? I'm like, bro, the lefties, dude.
I just like want to like walk in like this, so I can do this. Like I don't know if that's nice.
Woo! Friday's just gonna be short reds.
I thought that was Thursday. I'm hearing Thursday now for sure. Is it Thursday or Friday?
It's Friday.
Okay.
Friday because breath doesn't come in until Thursday.
I mean, we'll.
So we got breath force trial on Friday. We got sword and sword, spear, and short red on Friday. And then all the blade.
It's the biggest event of the year.
One of them. I think winter will be bigger.
Really?
This year.
Yeah.
But
it's
still,
a big thing of any time I
longest
go,
event that we're gonna go to for the year. It's 100%. So,
Having an event that started on a Tuesday was weird for me because it's the first time I've ever gone to a week one.
like, it's nice to be like, oh, I don't have to do any trials. I finished all my trials, and it's just like, shit, I gotta be there for everyone else. And I got a kid now, you know.
Red.
Is there a glance class?
Yes.
Yes.
I believe it's tomorrow. What? I'm not answering that. Please just
What do you find to be the best supplemental workouts for red side?
His name is Gut.
Ask Dozer.
you were actually willing to do.
Was the best red.
No, he asked what the best routine was.
Oh, okay. I think it's the best red.
No.
Any other questions? Also, thank you all for coming.